It is May 27, 2015, Zurich, Switzerland. FIFA officials are gathered for their annual Congress, the most powerful men in world football. Suits, handshakes, cameras. Then the doors open. Not for delegates, for Swiss police. 7 senior FIFA officials are arrested before breakfast, in their hotel rooms, in front of their colleagues, in front of the world. The charge, over $200 million in bribes, paid over 2 decades to decide who hosts the World Cup. The most watched sporting event on earth, decided not by merit, not by infrastructure, not by the fans, by envelopes of cash. But here is what nobody told you. That morning in Zurich was not the beginning of the story. It was the moment the story could no longer be hidden. And 10 years later, it is still not over.
FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, was founded in 1904 in Paris. 7 nations, a simple idea. 1 governing body, 1 set of rules, 1 sport for the world. Today, FIFA has 211 member nations, more than the United Nations, more than any political organization on earth. It controls the World Cup, a tournament that generates over $7 billion every 4 years. Television rights, sponsorship deals, ticket revenue, merchandise, licensing. $7 billion. Controlled by 1 organization, answerable to almost no one. No independent government oversees it. No court has consistent jurisdiction over it. It operates under its own statutes, its own ethics committee, its own courts. And for decades, it operated under its own rules about what was acceptable. The officials who were arrested in Zurich in 2015 were not rogue actors. They were not a few bad apples in an otherwise clean system. They were the system. The U.S. Department of Justice investigation that led to those arrests had uncovered 90 separate crimes, 45 individuals charged, $200 million in documented bribes. And that was only what prosecutors could prove. The question was never whether FIFA was corrupt. The question was, who was really in charge of the corruption? To understand what FIFA became, you need to understand what it was built on. In 1974, a Brazilian administrator named João Havelange ran for FIFA president. He made a promise to the developing world: more World Cup spots, more money, more power for smaller nations. He won, and he kept his promises. But the money to keep those promises had to come from somewhere. Havelange brought in a sports marketing company called ISL, International Sport and Leisure. ISL would sell FIFA's commercial rights globally. FIFA would get the revenue. ISL would get the commission. What the official record never mentioned was what else ISL was paying. Between 1989 and 2001, ISL made over 100 million Swiss francs in payments to FIFA officials. Not commissions, not salaries. Bribes. ISL went bankrupt in 2001. The payments stopped. The records surfaced. And FIFA did something remarkable. It paid a settlement to make the Swiss criminal case go away, to protect the names, to ensure that the officials who had taken the money would not be publicly identified. FIFA used its own funds from football, to cover up the corruption of its own leadership. and the man who oversaw that settlement was FIFA's new Secretary General. His name was Gianni Infantino. But here is where the story takes a darker turn.
In 2010, in a hotel conference room in Zurich, 22 men voted. 22 members of FIFA's executive committee, deciding where the 2018 and 2022 World Cups would be held. Russia won the 2018 vote. Qatar won the 2022 vote. The U.S. Department of Justice would later confirm what many suspected. Bribes were paid to FIFA Executive Committee members to vote for Qatar. Bribes were paid to vote for Russia. The men casting those votes were not acting as football administrators. They were acting as sellers. Ask yourself this: of the 22 men who voted that day, how many faced criminal consequences? A handful out of 22. The rest retired, collected their FIFA pensions, attended football matches in executive boxes, and the tournaments went ahead. In June 2026, 3 days before the World Cup opening match, Michel Platini filed a criminal complaint in a French court against Gianni Infantino, the man who is now FIFA president. The allegation that Infantino worked to exclude Platini from the 2016 FIFA presidential race, to eliminate the one candidate who might have challenged the existing power structure. Infantino became president in 2016, and the World Cup that opened 3 days after that complaint was filed was his tournament. The world was told that 2015 was a turning point, that the arrests, the indictments, the reform agenda, these were the system correcting itself. The data tells a completely different story. By 2024, FIFA was quietly dismantling nearly every anti-corruption reform it had agreed to after 2015. The independent oversight mechanisms weakened. The transparency requirements reduced. The external governance reviews ended. And Infantino was engineering the award of the 2034 World Cup to Saudi Arabia, bypassing FIFA's own statutes requiring a fair and transparent bidding procedure. Amnesty International called it a whitewash. Because here is what the pattern of the last 50 years reveals. FIFA does not reform. FIFA resets. A scandal erupts. Officials are arrested or resign. New leadership arrives with promises of change. The reform agenda is announced. The press moves on. And then, slowly, quietly, methodically, the new leadership builds the same system the old leadership had. Because the system is not the problem. The system is the product. A governing body that answers to no external authority, that controls billions of dollars, that grants rights worth hundreds of millions to nations and broadcasters. That kind of power does not attract reformers. It attracts exactly the people who are running it now.
This is not history. The 2026 World Cup is happening right now in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The biggest World Cup in history. 48 nations, 104 matches. And the president overseeing it is the subject of a criminal complaint filed days before the opening whistle. The president who gave FIFA's first ever Peace Prize to Donald Trump, who invited Trump to present the Club World Cup trophy and then did not object when Trump kept the real trophy and gave Chelsea a replica. Most people watching the World Cup will see the goals, the celebrations, the drama of the tournament. Now you can see the other story, the one running underneath it. The $200 million in documented bribes was not the full amount. It was the amount prosecutors could prove. And the governing body that controls the sport 1 billion people watch every week is still, today, answerable to almost no one, except itself. In 1904, 7 men sat in Paris and decided football needed one governing body. They were not wrong. What they could not have imagined was what that body would become when the sport grew into the most valuable game on earth. Power without accountability does not stay clean. It never has. It never will. The arrests happened. The investigations continue. The complaints are filed, and the World Cup goes on. If this story deserved to be told, help us find the next one. Next time, we go deeper into the money, the broadcasting deals, the sponsorship contracts, and the specific financial structures that make FIFA's corruption almost impossible to prosecute from the outside. The game is beautiful. What runs it is not.